A full year.
A full year.
Annualized, yes.
Annualized.
3512.
3512 annualized.
So does that come up with a number, bottom line, for an annual?
52,680.
I know, what does that come up to be?
52,680.
52,680. Okay,
That's a good thing.
that's good.
Yeah,
That's
sure was
good.
right.
Yes, Dave.
Okay.
Just a very minor thing on the work to be performed, page 5 of 8 there. I just want to add street signs. You got street hazards, but a lot of times we have street signs that are kind of tipping way over, and they're like that for a long time. These guys might be able to help us.
Where are you, Dave?
Page 5 of 8 there, number 7.
Number 7.
Near the bottom. Promptly reports maintenance defects. I would just add street signs. And then I had one other thing. It's been a while, I think it's been a couple of years since we talked about radar guns. I don't know how long it's been. And we had a long discussion about the use of radar guns out here. And there are a lot of strong opinions both ways. And yet it's slipped in here like we all are agreeing to this. So I just wanted to question that. There are a lot of issues for the use of radar guns. And is the board really ready to sign up to this?
We're already online with that.
We are?
Our roving patrol is using a radar gun throughout
I didn't think they were actually doing it.
They stopped doing it earlier. The gun actually failed, we purchased a new one.
Okay.
That was a lot of some time.
Let's see how the board feels about that. Reviewing and enforcing our speed limits through the use of radar guns operated by a trained operator.
They have to be certified.
Yeah, I would, having been a certified radar trainer, having gone through a real course, you would have to define for me what is certified. Because if you're sending somebody down here to Winchester and they're telling them how to turn the set on and how to read the numbers, that's not going to cut it. There are way too many errors that if you are not a trained operator, a truly trained operator, there are errors that will give you false readings, and if you don't know what they are, you have no clue that it's even an error.
Mike, is there a specific course or certification specific?
Very difficult to come by. I went to VMI for a week to be trained with an engineer.
If we're considering radar operators on this contract, it needs to be in the contract.
Exactly.
It needs to say that in the contract. It needs to say what kind of certification we're going to expect of these people, what kind of personnel we're going to expect them to bring. If that's not in the contract, then I think it's probably...
Well, it does say, subject to what Mike's saying, on page 6 of 8, item 3, radar gun use,
Yeah.
says is only to be used by a certified operator. Maybe that needs to be defined as to what
We need
certified
to
means.
define a
But it is
certified
there, it's in
operator.
the contract.
But that's left up to the discretion of Mr. Haines.
Well, I'm saying, unless we define what the certification is.
Well, not only that, but do we want him, I mean, it's up to, right now, it's up to Haines' discretion whether a so-called certified operator turns on his machine or not. Do we want him to turn on the machine? Do we?
The board authorized last year the use of the radar gun, we've never taken it away.
Never used it.
Well, a couple things. I agree with John. The way it says here, it says you can't use the radar gun unless you're trained. So the contract needs to say, if we want them to use the radar gun, that they need to use it. Because I would just read this as, fine, I won't use the radar gun. I'm going to have somebody who's trained. So it needs to have a requirement in here that we're going to use it. But I think that we really need to think seriously about that in light of the current issues we're having with the compliance committee. I mean, they're having problems with the stop sign violations. I can't even imagine what's going to happen when people start getting $50 citations for speeding 2 months after the occurrence.
I believe you missed the last meeting, I think, but we talked through this, and the biggest issue with compliance, I believe, has been errors first. And secondly, people not getting notices for 2 weeks after something's done. This contract specifies that within 48 hours, they will have a notice delivered to their door. And I think if the accuracy is as it should be, and the notice is at their door, there should be a lot less complaints. There's still gonna be complaints. Nobody wants to get a citation. We either want to enforce this or we don't. And the board has said in the past, we are going to enforce this, and we are going to use a radar gun. The board can change that. But if we're going to back down and not compliance, that's also fine. But then why have a committee, why have any rules?
And I think that you have serious road accidents, all speed being a factor in every single one of these cases earlier this year, and not to enforce speed here, I think is doing a very big disservice to your residents.
Judy?
I don't disagree with that.
Mike,
Sorry.
I want to recognize Judy.
I guess my question is, does Haines, do they have the authority to stop people? Whether if it's for a speeding violation?
No.
They do not, because they don't wear, they are deputized, some of this crew, and they have.
But they're not
in order
uniformed.
To carry that, to enforce that, they have to carry a firearm.
Right,
This
they're not.
agreement doesn't provide for that.
So they're not going to chase anybody down, they're not going to accost people and try to hold them. They're just going to take information, and if they have enough information then to issue a citation, they will.
Okay, then what's the difference between how they would handle it and our own road patrol handling it? I mean, I guess this is really about cost, and this is what it's about. But is it really about doing it the right way? I mean, you know more about it than I do, but it's
Help
just
me
something.
understand how this is gonna work. If you've got that radar gun, and somebody goes speeding by, you've got him at 50 miles an hour. What's this guy gonna do?
He's going to record the license plate.
How's he gonna do that thing that goes by 50 miles an hour?
He's going to make his best effort to be hand recorded.
Is he gonna chase him?
No. No. There'll be no chasing.
He's gonna get that license plate at that speed,
Well,
going like that.
I think the answer is if he gets
Okay.
it, we'll issue a citation. If he doesn't get it, we don't issue a citation.
Let's assume for a moment that he gets that license plate, because it's very easy enough. Then what happens?
And the issues citation.
Wait, he, Mr. Haines, hand carries a citation to my front door.
No, to our office.
That's not what it says.
Well, then he's going to deliver it within 48 hours. right?
Well, it's not clear. It's not clear. I'm looking at a contract here that we're about to enter into, and it's nobody, we've got 14 different opinions as to what's gonna happen. It's not clear. Within 24 hours.
It says a copy of the citation and traffic violation notice should be hand delivered to the resident.
By whom? By Mr.
Yeah.
Haines?
By the Lake Holiday Association.
Well, two different answers.
Yeah.
Two different answers, right there. That's
Yeah, it should read.
Rest my case.
We should change.
Rest my
Lake
case.
Holiday Association. Should not be everybody.
So, wait a minute, so the point is that Mr. Haines doesn't care what happens. Mr. Haines has a contractual obligation to do something. This is a contract between Haines and Lake Holiday. We need to specify in this contract what Haines has to do to comply with our contract. After that,
Okay.
our own compliance things can talk about
What
what
do
we
you
do.
want, what do you want to change, John?
I wanted to,
Specifically.
within 24 hours, a copy of the citation should be hand delivered to the general manager or management office, or,
Well, that should be by end of shift,
well,
I don't know if it's at midnight, but that's
Well, I end the shift at 3 o'clock in the morning.
right to the gate.
They don't have access to that office, and they